Streaming only on Peacock, a new original comedy.
Me, in a punk band?
We Are Lady Parts.
A confused mix of hash anthems and sour girl power.
You puked all over the front row.
Ew.
We Are Lady Parts. All episodes streaming now, only on Peacock.
Lowe's knows you work hard to take on the toughest jobs, so why not treat yourself with savings on the top pro tools that work as hard as you do? Head into Lowe's today for pro summer savings and get up to 30% off select tools and accessories. Lowe's is the home for great values on the most trusted brands like DeWalt, Bosch, and Metabo HPT. Shop in-store or on Lowes.com. Lowe's, the new home for pros. While supplies last, valid through 7/7, U.S. only.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very special time of year for myself and for my husband, Steve. It's Butner Lake time for the Dooley family. Hey. Steve was at the house, the lake house, last week. And tell everyone what you were doing up there, Steve.
Well, I was opening the house up for the summertime. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't know you have to open up if you have a spring house. Or a summer house, you need to spring it open. Oh,
what Steve's trying to say is...
I can say it, but I'm just a little bit nervous.
Go ahead, honey.
When you have a summer home, you want to open it up and get it ready for the summer.
Right, and so you went up to the Butner Lake house there, near Goblin Creek.
Yeah, our house is actually right on Butner Lake, but it's next to...
You're doing great, honey.
It's next to Goblin Creek.
It is next to Goblin Creek. Bill Goblin was... one of the founding people of Butner Lake, Butnerville.
Yeah.
And so there's Goblin Creek. We also have the Cliffs of Goblin. And then Kulo Jetty, which had been Goblin Jetty, right?
Well, it was Goblin Jetty, and they felt they wanted to change the name. They wanted to make it sound a little more adult, and so they call it Kulo Jetty. And then they found out that was Spanish for something that...
is a little bit adult itself.
Yes, right, that's right. But by then they couldn't change it because all the maps had been changed and everything. So,
why did they not think that? Why did they say Goblin Jetty?
Well, they thought Goblin.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, it's very stupid. But there had been quite a bit of teenage activity there before the adults finally came in trailers and the mobile homes and the caravans and.
So that was a famous teen Lover's Lane for a while.
Yeah, back in the 20s and 30s, teens went there and the police raided it 3 or 4 times. On through the 40s it was raided, and it was raided partially into the 50s until finally adults started moving in because they felt what would get the teens to leave would be for adults to come in and put down roots with the mobile homes.
And those became our very first cabins at Butner Lake, the mobile homes and the trailers and so forth.
Yeah, they were. And of course, a lot of people didn't like them. They were an eyesore. So you got rid of the teens who were half-dressed and...
right, and engaging in activities that were not healthy.
Right. And a lot of that, the adults, I don't want people to misunderstand, but some adults with no morality at all got involved with the teen, and they got some of the diseases.
The STDs.
Yeah. And that was bad until finally they cleared the teens out. They got rid of the trailers. And then they started to build the homes. And
so the homes at Butner Lake are not that old. A lot of the lake areas of California and around the Los Angeles area date to the 20s, don't they?
Well, some of the San Gabriel Mountains and some of them not San Gabriel, but in the Santa Monica. Yeah, Santa Monica date to the 20s.
But the ones at Butner Lake, these are all from the 70s on forward because, again, it was not really developed. A lot of trailers were parked there, caravans and so on, mostly to chase out all of the teens that had gone there to engage in sex. And
yeah, they had sex, and they had, a point in the 60s, they had witchcraftery.
Well, a lot of the hippies were involved in that.
Yeah.
Do you think that was sort of like a Manson thing?
There's talk that Butner Lake at one time had a Manson-type family because of the witchcraftery.
Now, what do you mean by witchcraftery?
Well, witchcraft.
Right. So this was part and parcel of the New Age thinking.
Well, all that, really weird hippie stuff. So they had witch covens up there in the 60s. and many of them were witches. I read up on it. Witches aren't supposed to wear clothes during their ceremonies, so there were a lot of women kneeling or on all fours around a fire, and it confused a lot of men that were walking by who were coming back from the lake with fish. And
Well, what do you mean?
well, they got a string of fish. They walk by, they see 5 or 6 women on all fours surrounding a fire, and going whatever they're saying.
Well, they're chanting witch. Oh, this is interesting. I didn't know anything about this.
Yeah, this is all part of what happened. And they thought it was a party or something, so they sit down, they start cleaning fish, and the women are witches, and they're trying to drive them out with evil spells, and it was ridiculous. People were laughing and pointing at them, and they cleared out.
Who cleared out?
The witches, and as well as the fishermen.
Well, we still have fishing at Butner Lake, though, but you're talking about these transients.
Yeah, it was very transient.
Well, isn't that interesting, ladies and gentlemen, that Steve just... Now, where did you do that reading?
Well, I found a lot of it online, and some of it I found on the computer, which is the same thing.
Right.
And I also went to the Butner Library, and it was not really much of a library. There's a woman who has a home with some books, and she's sort of the self-designated...
Is that Trudy?
Yeah, Trudy Capel, yeah. And she lives over on the other side of Butner Creek, or Goblin Creek, I mean. And
Now, again, this is the interesting thing about Butner Lake and about the creek and about Goblin. The Goblin family.
yeah, Bill Goblin is the matriarch.
You mean the patriarch?
Is the patriarch who came from back east, and then the family came and recognized that he was doing really good work. They thought he had just come out here to just mess around and do nothing. And he sent back letters and postcards saying, I've founded a town, and it's being overrun by teens. And the family didn't respond at all until finally when the new homes were built.
Well, what did the Butner family, what did they do?
No, it's the Goblin.
Oh, the Goblin. So what did they do?
Well, the Goblin family didn't care. And so that's how Bill Goblin came to, he was killed in a World War II.
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah, the transport he was on was blown up by a German U-boat, but he was in the Mediterranean. So anyway, he died, and the Goblin family couldn't care less. So you had a lot of teens engaged in some pretty shocking sex practices around the lake area, until finally they were driven off by the adults, the trailer trash, and then the trailer trash was driven off by the fancy homes.
So who named it Butner Lake?
Butner was the name of the developer, ran Butner, but they still maintained so it's got Butner Lake and Butnerville, and
So those are the only two. When I think of Butner Lake, there's Butnerville, Butner Lake, Butner Landing.
Butner Landing,
And but then everything else is Kulo Jetty or Goblin Reef.
right? Because most of the places are Mr. Goblin is remembered fondly.
Mr. Goblin is remembered fondly, or
Well, they wanted to remember him. They don't remember him, and it makes people feel guilty that they don't remember him. So
now they want to remember him.
yeah.
So isn't that interesting, Rex?
Well, I was going to say it could be interesting.
Well, what isn't interesting about it?
What's it? Well, it's not that it isn't interesting. It's that it's rather tragic, isn't it? That this man Goblin came here to found a town, and there were teens having sex or something.
Where were the teens, Steve? Were they parked?
Yeah, the teens are parked, but they have no clothes on. And this was for how long? Oh, a good 30 years, until they were run off by trailer trash. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Well, you don't seem to.
It's hard to believe, to be honest with you. I'm not making it up. I'm not saying you're making it up, but it's...
Well, all right. This is really good coffee. Thank you, Rex, for making the coffee.
Uh-huh.
And thank you, Steve, for a little bit of that background. Well, you know what I'd like to do right now is get on the line Trudy Capel, who is our librarian there at Butner Lake, and get a little bit more in depth with this. You know, Steve.
Well, I was thinking about it too.
No, hold on. Take it easy, Steve, and get a little bit more in depth with it, because Trudy has so much. Is this Trudy here?
Yeah, she's at LAX.
Trudy?
Hi.
Trudy, it's Bobby Dooley.
Oh, I'm going to get on an airplane in about 3 minutes, and I'm in the jetway now, but I wanted to answer. I thought that you were going to call me earlier. I was at home.
Are you at LAX?
I am, yes.
Well, where are you going?
I wish I could tell you, but I can't. I can't tell you.
All right. Well, Trudy, can you tell us when Mr. Goblin, Bill Goblin, he died in World War II, right?
That's correct. Bill Goblin came to the area. It was called the area. No one gave it a name. It was just the area where young lovers would meet. They had a terrible epidemic of venereal disease. Even forest animals. They almost wiped out a raccoon. There was a herd of raccoon. It could have killed had they not been treated.
What are you saying? Oh, my God.
No, the humans weren't having sex with raccoons, but the area was known for venereal disease, and the humans just aided it.
Are you saying this is some kind of...
Well, the correct pronunciation is raccoon, not raccoon.
Well, I was reading up on it, and they said it's raccoon.
Well, you can call it anything you want, Bobby, but so finally, yeah, the venereal disease was wiped out, and that was by the trailer trash just moving in and absorbing it into their genealogy. They had so much infection and disease themselves that they just wiped out the VD that was there, and they had other diseases.
Then a lot of people are listening to this and thinking, why would anyone want to live at Butner Lake?
Well, a lot of hard work went into cleaning things up, Bobby. Now, there's my plane, so I'm going to have to get...
And there she is, Trudy Capel.
Yeah, Trudy is so interesting to talk to.
I had no idea that the raccoon had... There's such a thing, is that right?
Oh, yeah. Animals get similar diseases to human beings. They affect them differently, but...
Now look at my husband, my big, strapping, gorgeous husband, and look at him. You know all about the raccoon.
Well, I just, what I've read up on it. And yeah, they do have similar diseases.
And so, that's fascinating. But thank you, Trudy. Well, Hal Grisby was a warlock. My understanding is that Hal is no longer a warlock. I don't know if that's good or bad. But at one time, warlocks ruled the roost at Butner Lake. They were a part of the hippie generation. The teens that were having sex in convertibles were no longer out there. Prior to the trailer trash moving in, the warlocks, the Wiccans, and the hippies. Hi, Hal.
Hey, hello, how are you? Hey, Steve, thank you very much for making me a part of the show.
My pleasure, Hal.
Hey, Hal, you and I've only spoke a couple of times. I know you've been wonderful, I think, at the Homeowners Association with your ideas on landscaping.
Oh, I love... Steve's doing a great job, but I like to plant flowers and... I don't want to take away from Steve. I think he does a great job, but I think the place could probably use I think he could use some help, and I'm not knocking you, Steve, at all, okay?
No, I understand.
But it does look a little looks a little bit like a garbage can around the back of the property.
Well, maybe we should put you to work there.
Not going to use the help.
Okay, well, again, not that you need it, but the back of the property as you enter from Sheboygan Avenue, it looks like you're rolling into a toxic waste site. It doesn't even look like people live there, so we can pick it up a little bit.
Well, you two big boys talk to each other about that. Say, Hal.
Yeah?
Let's talk about the days when you were a warlock.
All right.
Now, was that a youthful, a hippie thing?
Oh, yeah. We were young and wild, and I had a girlfriend who I eventually married. You know Janine, but her name back in those days was Goliath. And
her name was what?
Her witch name was Lady Goliath, or Goliath. She wasn't large. She was, smaller than me, but she was huge in appetites and knew all of the potions and all of the mumbo-jumbo and all that jazz. And I would follow her around with a flower, and I put it over her head, things like that.
Well, did you have potions and things?
Well, yeah, we made potions. We took, let's face it, we took some hallucinogenies. And
you mean hallucinogenics?
No, we took hallucinogene, and it was the goddess hallucinogene. And these are drugs that we created ourselves. It was a great time, and I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. We all came out of it pretty good. Some of us were brain damaged. I'm sure I have brain damage. I get flashbacks from time to time, and I've been to a psychiatrist for it. But mostly, I've had a wonderful life, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it must have been fun being a hippie down at the lake and long before people moved in.
Oh, it was wonderful. It was beautiful back then, and we'd get up in the morning and just pick mushrooms and eat them. And I'll tell you, most mushrooms are poisonous. And so we'd spend a lot of mornings vomiting until, a Friday or Saturday we'd find a good mushroom. And then we'd be, as we used to say, off to the races. We'd be seeing things and hearing things, and the road would get wider and smaller. And, it was great. And ducks turned into gigantic monsters. I remember seeing couldn't have been more than a squirrel, and I thought it was something out of a spaceship, and I screamed and buried my head. The rest of me was exposed, but I put my head in some mud and leaves, and the rest of the coven spent the whole day laughing at looking at my rear end sticking up in the air while my head was underground. And
now your head was underground because of the mushroom?
Yeah, you took a mushroom, right?
I took a mushroom, and if that's what you want to call it, but I think I was also having a flashback. So
you were oh my goodness. We're talking here with Hal Grisby, a former warlock who lived at Butner Lake back in the day before the trailers moved in. And when the trailers moved in, how did you get along with that group of people?
No, not really. Although they did drive out all the teens that were having sex in the fields and on the streets. But we didn't get along with them after they drove the teens out. And we said, well, thanks. Now we can get down to our warlockery and study up on magic and everything. And they pretty much said to us, and you know what, you people need to split off the planet too. We'll give you 48 hours. And of course, I'm a warlock, or at that time I was. Nobody tells me to do anything. I'll throw a bad spell on you.
Can you still do it?
Can I still do what?
Can you still put a bad spell on people?
Yeah, you put black magic on them?
Well, it's funny. I haven't tried it, but I bet you I could, because it's been such a long time. But I got some people making me angry now. I got a couple of neighbors trying to put up a retaining wall, and they want me to go to the city and get the plot maps and all that stuff. I just as soon turn one of these guys into an apple, or just put a hex on him and turn him into a frog or something. And just to hell with him, but I better not do that.
We're talking to Hal Grisby, who's now one of our neighbors and a member of the Western States Homeowners Association, as well as a homeowner at Butner Lake. And Hal, you were at one time a warlock. Now,
that's correct, yeah.
And the lady, Goliath, was Janine.
Yeah, Goliath, my wife, she was a witch called Goliath. My name was Bub, the man with two heads. I only had one. I don't know where that came from. And we had a lot of different names.
You had two heads?
No, I didn't have two heads. I was Bub, the man with two heads.
That was your name?
That was my warlock name, yeah.
Okay, let me ask you, before I let you go, Hal, you didn't get along with the people in the trailers. When did you decide to leave, and when, did the trailer people get pushed out?
Well, we left in the 60s. We just told the trailer people, you can hang it in your blankety blank. And we packed up, and we threw a couple of hexes on them before we left. We put some black magic curses. I cursed one woman who had parked her Cadillac on top of my tent. So I just threw a curse on her like, oh, man, you ain't even going to believe what's going to happen to you. I think I wanted her to turn into a gigantic roach or something like that. I doubt seriously if she turned into a gigantic roach, but I heard stories after we left of seeing large creatures roaming through the nightscapes. I don't know.
No, get out of here. You think you made a giant roach?
I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know. But we left, and then in came the builders, and they threw the trailer trash out. That's the last I heard about that. And I haven't talked to any warlocks, in a long time.
Well, Hal, it's been great talking to you. And it was so fortuitous, which is a word I learned last year.
Fortuitous?
Yeah.
It's a good word.
Yeah. It's so fortuitous to find out that you were also a homeowner at Butner Lake.
Well, it's been great talking to you. I'm sorry.
Bobby and Steve.
Yeah, Bobby and Steve. I imagine it would be a lot more exciting.
And there he is.
Yeah, he's an old coot, and I met over there at Butner Landing.
Hal Grisby, a former warlock. Well, you know what? Every year at the lake, one of the things they do is aerate the lake, and that is lots of oxygen, Steve, is pumped into the water.
Yeah, that helps the fish as well as the plant life.
Yes, and they also aerate the lake bottom so that you get oxygen into the soil there. And it also goes a long way toward cleaning the lake, because I know that if they don't do that, we get some pretty nasty rashes and infections.
Yeah, well, you'll get lake rot.
Lake rot.
Yeah, oh yeah, you'll get lake rot. You get rid of lake rot, but it looks like, while it lasts, like one whole half of your face was set on fire.
And I want to talk to Wilson Suffolk from Lake Management, who's in charge of aerating the soils and the lake waters themselves and getting the oxygen in there. Steve was just telling me before we went on the air, Wilson, that there's such a thing as lake rot.
Yeah, lake rot's pretty nasty.
Well, what is lake rot?
Well, it's a fungus, and it can get on you, and it goes away. All you need is an ointment, and it'll go away. But when it takes over, there's a 24 to 48 hour takeover where it covers your face, and many people have commented that, oh, wow, you look like Freddy Krueger or something.
God, it's that bad, huh?
It's pretty bad.
Have you ever had this?
I had lake rot, for 2 summers, and one whole half of my face looked like someone had set it on fire. And, the old joke, put it out with a track shoe.
Oh, my Lord.
Well, that's rough. How'd you get rid of it?
I got an ointment over at the drugstore. Dr. Boutonniere, who was the doctor in town at the time, said, go to the drugstore and get an ointment. And I didn't bother to ask him what kind. I just got an ointment and smeared it all over my face. And I'd say within about 3 months.
3 months? My God, this is something that makes you look like Freddy Krueger. It takes 3 months to get rid of.
Yeah, it did me. And I kept slathering this ointment on my face. And somebody said to me, what are you, the alien? God almighty, you've slobbered down one half of your face. And they'd pretend like they're running away and go, oh, I'm only kidding.
Now, how did you do for work and all that stuff?
Well, I was in charge of lake management, so much of my work I do by myself in a boathouse where no one can see me or bother me. And I go out on lake patrols, and sometimes I'll tell picnickers or people who have anchored in the wrong cove to pull up anchor and go ahead and, take their act somewhere else. The neighbors don't need to see them there with their rear ends up in the air and no underwear on or whatever they're doing. So, but when you pull up on people and half of your face looks like Freddy Krueger, they have a tendency to start the end, just take off on you, and they're dragging an anchor and they don't know what they're doing. You got to chase after them and go, no, your anchor isn't up. Your anchor isn't. One guy screamed and leapt from his boat and then was run over by his own boat. And
oh my God,
it was very tragic because he was run over by his own boat, and that means the propeller too.
Oh, geez. Well, fortunately, we don't have that many tragedies out of the lake, do we?
No. Butner Lake is a place that everyone enjoys. I'm just saying, if you don't want to go swimming until we've got it fully aerated and we've treated the fungus and a lot of the bacteria and bacteriae that gets into the water. But after that, the swimming is great. The water skiing is wonderful.
Do you do any water skiing yourself, Winston?
I do a little bit of water skiing, but I don't like to go out there, and I feel stupid doing it because I think it's actually kind of a stupid sport, just going, having someone pull you on a rope behind a boat. I don't know. I don't get it. I never have understood it. So.
Well, thank you, Winston, for being with me. I'm Bobby Dooley, my husband, Steve. Winston Suffolk with Lake Management.
Thank you very much. And, of course, with 4th of July.
Winston Suffolk.
And Lake Management.
And Lake Management, yes.
Bobby and Steve Dooley now, Mr. Henry. They're at the Western Estates Homeowners Association of the homeowner. And here they are.
Bobby, how you doing?
Oh, hello, Phil. And Steve's here.
Hey, Mr. Henry, how you doing?
I'm good, guys. I saw with great interest some tweets that you made, Bobby, over the weekend having to do with your opening up the lake house.
Yes, we're going to Lake Butner this weekend, and we're very excited. We've had our lake house at Lake Butner now for, oh gosh, Steve, how long have we had?
Well, long we've been married 9 years. My father bought it, and then Bobby's father bought it from my father. We've never owned it. It's just been either one of our fathers.
Yeah, we have never really owned it. My father owned it. Steve's father owned it. Steve's father, as you know, died in prison, which is unfortunate, but he had transferred ownership to his mother.
Yeah, my mother owned it, and then Bobby's father And then my father and her mother. I mean,
not my mother. My mother doesn't own anything. That's not how we do it in the Dooley family. My father owned it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
All right. So, but you guys have the beach house, or no, excuse me, the lake house.
Yes.
What did you want to ask, Margaret?
I'm sorry, Bobby. Is it Lake Butner or is it Butner Lake?
Thank you, Margaret. You're right. It is. It's Butner Lake. Butner Lake is the technical. That's the technically. It's technically. It's a technical right turn of. It's technically correct.
Yes, you're saying technically it's called Butner Lake.
Yes, technically it's called Butner Lake.
Yeah, that's where we have our boat there too.
Yes, and that was the problem.
Yeah, let me just tell you.
I'll do it, Steve. Thank you.
God, I wanted to do it.
I'm going to do it, Steve.
All right, look, if Bobby would do it, Steve, I would appreciate it. That gives one person.
And I'll let you comment.
All right, as long as I get the comment.
Yes, okay.
All right, that's all I care about.
Yeah, you'll get the comment, Steve.
Yeah, Steve, you'll get to comment. I don't like really the way he's talking to her.
Oh, don't worry about it, Margaret, will you? A man is going to talk to a woman the way a man will talk to a woman. And let no man put us under, you know.
What?
All right. Anyway, Bobby, so there you were this weekend, and you were tweeting, right?
Well, yeah, it was Sunday. It was yesterday. And I saw some pictures from last year of Steve and my brother Daryl launching our boat over there on Sugarman Beach.
Yeah, Sugarman Beach is over, and
I'll do it, Steve, if you don't mind. Phil, I'm sorry.
No, Steve, if you can let Bobby...
No, but just want to let her know where Sugarman Beach is.
I know where Sugarman Beach is. It's over near the marina.
Yeah.
So they were launching on Sugarman Beach, and there's a song, I don't know if you know it, but it's called Wolverton Mountain. And the guys have called Sugarman Beach Wolverton Mountain because the lyric goes, they say don't go. Margaret, do you know this one?
Yes, I do. It goes like this. They say don't go on Wolverton Mountain, 'cause if you're... No, I know it is. If you're looking...
No, get it right or not.
I'm doing it. They say don't... No, I don't give a shit.
What is it, okay?
It's... They say don't go on Wolverton Mountain if you're looking for a wife.
Yes, and so the guys nicknamed it that because if you go and try to launch a boat at Sugarman Beach, it's as if you're being warned, don't go up to Wolverton Mountain if you're looking for a wife. And what that means basically is if you try to launch on Wolverton or on Sugarman Beach or on Wolverton Mountain, you'll look, as the saying goes, you'll look wrecked. And no woman will want to put it in a delicate term, to bed you.
Yeah, because you're going to look like, you know...
Well, I used a term that was very unfortunate, and Steve was angry with me.
All right, now we're going to go ahead and allow the term to be used. Steve, do you want to tell us what it was?
Yeah, my body...
I'm going to do it.
Well, who's going to do it?
Oh, I want to do it.
I'll do it, and then you can do it, okay? What I said, Phil, was that Steve and Daryl launched a boat the way old people fuck. And
oh, God almighty.
Jesus, did you say that?
Yes, I did, General. And by the way, I got that from the movie, The Full Metal Jacket, which Irving Ermey was in.
Irving Ermey? Who the fuck is Irving Ermey?
R. Lee Ermey.
Yes, R. Lee Ermey. And
R. Lee Ermey. Yeah, well, he said that in that movie, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He was talking to one of the Marine privates, and he said, "You climb obstacles like old people fuck." So.
No, and my own wife said that to me. God. Yeah, you kidding me? That's the funniest thing I ever heard in my life.
That's pretty funny, man. You got to admit.
Not funny to me. Well, I'm trying to get a boat launched.
Well, as it turned out, Phil, these pictures that I posted were of Steve and Daryl trying to launch a boat on Sugarman Beach. They completely missed the ramp.
No, I did not miss the ramp. I wanted to launch it on Sugarman Beach to get right out into the waves and not go down the... God damn it. You know.
And not go down what?
You didn't want to look pussy?
Pretty much, yeah. Because it looks pussy when you're going down the ramp. There were like 5 guys lined up waiting to go down the ramp. And I was going, God, I got to wait in line for these guys, for these limp dicks.
You know, Steve, it's really something for you to call all these guys limp, you-know-whats, and so on and so forth. And as it turned out, you're out in the surf. You're out on Wolverton Mountain.
Please don't say that.
Yes, you were. You were on Wolverton Mountain, and you were looking for a wife.
And if you go to Wolverton Mountain looking for a wife, you won't find one that's going to be attracted to you because you're launching that boat the way old people, you know.
Yeah, the way old people fuck. And
boy, you guys are all free with the language now, aren't you?
Well, it is true. And
All right, I want to be clear here. Well, because I get into this problem a lot of times with you guys. Are we here to offend Steve, or are we here to get some answers?
Well, that's a really good point, Mr. Dooley. I was getting offended and everything.
Damn, who cares about it? Mr. Dooley's acting like he went over to Wolverton Mountain. And
we don't even know what going to Wolverton Mountain means.
Neither do I, for that matter.
Going to Wolverton Mountain? Well, is that the song, They Say Don't Go?
Yes, They Say Don't Go.
Wait a minute. Who cares whether it's about Wolverton Mountain or Sugarman Beach? So you're out there launching a boat, and you did a bad job. I saw these pictures, Bobby. Is this on your Twitter feed?
yes, if you go to Bobby Dooley, if you go to twitter.com/Bobby Dooley, you'll see that I tweeted out some pictures that I took last year of the guys launching the boat. Now, I had no idea that what I was looking at was a full-on cluster, you know what. I had no idea that what I was looking at were grown men walking around in the surf and for all the world looking as if they needed to have wristbands on, be kept together, and be given lunch in a special segregated area of the cafeteria. In other words, what I'm saying, Mr. Hendry, a lot of them were behaving as if they'd been oxygen deprived at birth.
Oh, God damn.
You're kidding me.
that's pretty good.
That's so cruel and so wrong. So cruel and so wrong.
All right, look, you got your little jolly off there, Bobby. What's the point?
The point is very clearly this. They were actually making monkeys out of themselves trying to launch this boat. Now, I was taking pictures thinking that what my husband was doing and what my brother was doing and what my boobs were doing.
Well, I assume you know what your boobs were doing.
Yes, they were right here.
They're right there in the middle of your chest. And
how dare you?
Yeah,
and there's more where that came from.
Anyway, I said, look at these pictures, and people started tweeting, well, these guys look as if they were oxygen deprived. I said, I don't know what you mean. And they said, do you know how the face flattens?
All right, okay, fine. So these guys were acting jackass, and what happened, Steve?
What happened was we were launching the boat good, and then we didn't because the boat, what happened was I backed my truck up into the sand, and it got stuck in the sand and started to sink in the sand.
What an idiot.
Well, I didn't know my wife's taking pictures of it.
Well, why wouldn't I take pictures of it? I'm very proud of my husband launching the boat.
Yeah, only later on you go, look at my husband. He launches boats like old people fuck. God.
Well, you know something, Dooley? You deserve that. You go out there in the surf with a four-wheel drive, and you still get stuck by sinking. How far into the sand did you sink?
All the way up to the, to the fenders. And
so all four tires went in deep.
Yeah, they went in deep.
I'll bet they went in deep.
That probably wanted them going real deep. Yeah, probably wanted it to go.
Will you shut up?
So you guys, you got the four-wheel drive, and then for the pictures that I'm seeing, there were other trucks getting stuck.
Yeah, it looks like there are at least two other trucks that went out to try to rescue you guys. They got stuck.
Yeah,
Then they brought, and here's the thing, Phil, they brought in a tractor. They brought in two tractors. Now, what were tractors doing out on our beach? That is very embarrassing. We have purchased a beautiful lakeside home, and now I'm given to understand that I have neighbors who are completely comfortable parking tractors on their property. I was shocked. I was hurt. And I said to Mr. Bodine, who was one of the men, and in fact he lives behind us.
Yeah, he's got the property up the back, you know.
I told you not to say up the back.
Well, he has the property there.
But don't say it's up the back because it's as if he's leering and moving in on me.
No.
All right, get to the point. What about this guy?
Yes, sir. Yes, Daddy.
Yeah, that's the way he talks to me too, Bobby.
Yes, sir.
Please, Ms. Dooley.
All right. He shows up. His name is Bodine. His name is Earl Bodine. I said, Earl, is that a tractor you have there? He said, yes. I love to go out, and I like to turn the grass under and make everything, do my fire abatement. And I said, my God, you look like, and I started going do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and he got very angry, and he picked up, do you remember the old hammer and sickle? And
oh my, are you kidding?
No, he picked up something that, it looked like a scythe or a sickle. And he said, just be thankful, Ms. Dooley, that I don't wave this around as if I'm a fifth columnist or a fellow traveler. When I wave this thing around, I mean to cut me some wheat. ha ha. And then he walked into the house. I heard a gunshot. I was frightened.
A gunshot?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yes. I was very frightened, and then I saw him peeking out the window and laughing. And when his wife got home, Carol, I said, Carol, what was that about? And she said, Earl likes to do that for kicks, to fake suicide and then see what people do. I said, well, if he does that again, I'll take that sickle out of his hand and bury it up his ass.
God. Yeah, she might.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I will.
Well, darling, I for one understand completely.
I don't like being effed with.
Yeah, well, okay. But I wasn't effing with you, and you turn around and say that I God damn it, man.
Would you slow down when you want to talk?
You said that I launch boats like old people fuck. You know, and...
Yeah, well, okay, so we got that part of it, and Ms. Dooley, you've got a neighbor that has a tractor. The two of you got into an argument over what that represented, what the sickle represented.
Well, what is so... Oh, my God.
Phil, what is so funny?
What's funny is the guy faking suicide.
What's funny about that?
Well, it was completely incongruous, you know?
What do you mean it was incongruous?
Incongruous.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what does that mean?
It's completely out of step with what he was... You guys were talking about his tractor and how it was embarrassing you. Then he starts saying, here's my sickle, and it's a good thing I'm not a fellow traveler, and I'm going to go out and cut me some wheat. And then you... I guess, what happened then?
Then he went into the house.
He goes into the house. You hear a gunshot.
Yes, and I turned toward the house shocked and hurt. And I was wondering, my God, what has he done? And I knew that Carol wasn't home yet. So I start toward the house. I look up. I see a curtain pull back, and he looks out and starts laughing. And when Carol got home, I said to her, what gives? And she said, what gives? I said, what gives with whatever that is that you live with? She said, you mean my husband? I said, yes. She said he fakes suicide occasionally when he knows he's lost an argument. He tries to get the emotional power back that way. And I said, and then I said what I said.
You said to tell him.
Yes. Do you want me to repeat it?
No. That's all right.
Well, he said you told Carol, tell him.
I told Carol, tell him.
No, Phil said don't repeat it.
Well, you can repeat it now. God.
Well, I won't, Phil, if you don't want me to.
Carol told you.
No, Carol said, you said to Carol.
No, she said to Carol, tell that old man I'll take that sickle and bury it up his ass.
Well, I said it much better than you did, Robert. But yes, essentially that.
All right. How did he react to that?
Well, then she went back in the house, and I heard I couldn't hear clearly, but I put my ear to the door, and I heard,
In other words, there was a lot of mumbling.
Yes.
Right, exactly. And I hear him, oh, yeah? Then I hear him go, oh, yeah? You know it, bang, bang, bang. So Carol comes outside, and she sees me. I had my ear to the door, and she goes, what were you doing? I said, well, I was eavesdropping. And she said, well, then you heard Bill say, or Earl say, I should say. And I said, who's Bill? And she said, that's what I call him. But his real name's Earl, so you're right the first time. And I guess you heard him say, anytime, day or night. And I said, what does that mean? She said, if you want to bury something up his ass, so long as it's well lubed, ha, ha, ha. And I said, does that include sickle?
Oh, is that the conversation you're really having?
Yes. And I said, does that include a sickle? And she said, I don't think so, because even with an industrial-sized barrel of Vaseline, that thing is still going to draw blood. And I said, you got that right. And she went back in the house and reconsulted with Earl, and I heard them going,
all right, will you knock it off? So we don't need to hear the rest of this.
God, Mr. Ernie, my wife's trying to tell you the story.
No, I'm only trying to tell you the story.
I don't need to hear this idiotic story about the sickle and an industrial-sized barrel.
Jesus, Phil, that was the most emphysema laugh. It was like...
Yeah, Mr. Ernie, you okay?
I'm fine. I never felt better in my life. All right, so what's the upshot on all of this, you know?
Well, you always say, what's the upshot? What does that mean? You know?
You do, Phil, when you say, what's the upshot? Is there supposed to be a solution?
Well, look, Steve is very hurt. Let me talk to Steve for a minute.
Steve, Phil wants to talk to you.
What?
Phil wants to talk to you.
Oh, does he? God.
He's over. He's making oatmeal.
Yeah? Does he want to make oatmeal or go on the air?
You want to make oatmeal or go on the air?
Well, okay. Yes, sir.
Steve, so what? How are you feeling tonight?
Well, I feel I feel very insulted by the fact that my wife tweeted these pictures. I go, oh my God, why did you do that? And she goes,
I'll tell him.
I'll tell him, Bobby.
Oh my God.
And she goes, I go, God, why? She goes, well, I was proud of you. You and Daryl launched the boat last summer, and it turns out you did it wrong. And she had said to me, this don't look right, and I told her to shut her mouth and mind her own business, that I was doing it right.
You told her to shut her mouth?
Yes, I did. She's my wife. I told her to shut her mouth. I was doing it good. And then the neighbors said that I was launching the boat like an old man fucks. And she goes, the neighbors are saying that you launch boats like old people fuck. And I go, okay, I'm going to have to cop to it. Yeah, I do.
So in other words, you knew you were making a mistake.
Yeah, but I wanted God.
And I saw these pictures. You took your boat, you launched it into the deep part of how far back did you back your truck up?
I backed my truck into the surf to get the boat.
Well, look, Dooley, you can back your truck up into the surf far enough so that the boat will start to float. Is that what you were doing?
Yeah, but I had to get out there a ways because the boat was still going to be slamming on the sandbar. So I backed it out, and I felt the rear tires start to sink in. And I remember thinking, oh my God, please, dear God, don't let me drown. And I crawled out, and as I swam to shore, I was a little bit out of breath, and my voice gets a little pitched high when I'm out of breath, and I was just,
When Steve gets out of breath, he starts going, and it doesn't do him any favors. And they said, well, what are you doing here? And he said, well, I just got out with my life. And they said, well, guess what? Your truck and your boat are about to float away.
Now, I saw one of these pictures, Steve. It looks like you almost lost your boat.
Well, the boat started to float off because we detached the boat in order to save the truck. And as we were trying to hook the truck up to another truck, which, as it turns out, that guy, oh, God, his truck almost got drowned, it almost sunk. My boat started to float away, and I go, which one of you guys get my boat, And they go, ain't my problem. I go, God damn you ball scratchers. I said something like, I called them ball scratchers, and that caused a big problem. And they said they weren't going to go out and get the boat till I apologized. I said, okay, I'm sorry for calling you a nut scratcher. God damn it. They said, no, it was ball scratcher. And
what is it with you people? You go through this big, long social decorum and series of rituals to apologize to each other. Meanwhile, a guy's boat is floating off into the ocean.
Well, and I said, will you please get it? And then finally 2 guys swam out there and said, okay. And they grabbed it. Meantime, I'm trying to get my truck. Well, this guy that had hooked up to my truck, he goes, forget it. And he unhooks and he saves himself. And now I'm going, hold on. Oh.
Yeah, Mr. Dooley, you gotta man up a little bit.
I'm manning up enough. So I said, okay, I'm good. And I went back to my truck, and then a tractor came, and that's what saved it.
No, you see, Steve, you don't...
I know, but you didn't have to tweet the pictures. She tweeted the pictures everywhere, and those pictures went around the world, all 69 states.
How dare you...
Bobby and Steve Dooley.
Yes, thank you, Hal Ackerman, our announcer here. On the Bobby and Stevie.
Steve and Bobby.
Stevie and Bobby. No, Bobby and Steve Dooley show. Here from Butner Lake. Let's get Susan Heshort out here because she makes the great crab cakes that we were raving about.
Susan, come on out here.
Hi. Susan, sit down. Aren't you a cute one? So you've been making these crab cakes every summer, haven't you?
I have.
And when did you begin to cook? Were you a little girl?
I was. I dabbled in cooking and cleaning, and I liked vacuuming, and I also enjoyed folding laundry.
So you did all of the housework. How old were you?
I was 7, and my parents were divorced, and so I was sent to live with relatives, and that's where I really got my skill down.
So you were living with relatives?
Doing all the laundry and they...
Yeah, and the cooking and the cleaning.
And folding laundry?
Laundry, cooking, cleaning, folding laundry, cleaning and cooking.
And then laundry folding.
And laundry folding, yes. And as I was cooking, while I was cleaning, I discovered these crab cakes that I can make those.
Where did you get the recipe for that?
Well, it was on the side of a box of flour, I think it was. And I used to look at the picture of Betty Crocker and cut the eyes out because it was...
You were acting out a little bit.
I was acting out, yeah. She looked like she thought she was something special, and so I would cut the eyeballs out of the picture of Betty Crocker and leave the boxes in the kitchen. It disturbed a lot of the families that I was placed with. But while I was looking at the box of Betty Crocker, I saw that there was a recipe there for crab cakes. And over the years, I've augmented the recipe with different additions.
Now, what are some of the things what you added on?
Well, I've added spices. I put a little bit of, and lately, you know, the sriracha.
Oh my, I love the sriracha. Don't you just love it?
I do. I think it's sriracha, not sriracha.
Well, it could be either way, is my understanding.
Yeah, like a sriracha.
A sriracha I thought was something you wear, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's sriracha. It's sriracha.
Or sriracha.
Yes.
So I put a little bit of the sriracha or sriracha sauce in the crab cake mix, so it gives it that tang, and things like that. You know, cayenne pepper. I like to make it spicy.
I think that's why it's popular.
Well, Steve and I were talking. There's no question your crab cakes are the hit of Butner Lake because you spice them up.
I spice them up, yes. And when I get angry, sometimes I urinate in the mix. I'm only kidding. It's just a joke.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my Lord.
No, it's just a joke to lighten the mood. No, I have enjoyed it.
How long have you worked here at Butner at Goblin Landing?
Well, I've been here for 15 summers. I know I've been here as long as you and Steve and the boys have been coming here.
That's exactly right, yeah.
And
well, we remember when we first got here, we said, let's go over to Goblin Landing, and we had a crab cake, and we've been...
You've been coming around ever since.
Yeah, we have.
Right.
You look like you're distressed by that.
No, I'm not distressed. I just, I think every family's different. All of our families are delightful up here at the lake, and you people that come in from the city down in Los Angeles, you're all delightful people. Your sons are terrific kids, although spray painting swastikas...
Yeah, I've told them all about that.
We've tried to break them of that habit. You know, it's just youthful exuberance.
Sure, that's what it is, youthful exuberance.
Well, thank you very much, Susan. And go on in there and make some more crab cakes.
Yeah, sure thing.
There she is.
That's Susan. I forgot her last name.
Me too.
But we've been coming here for 15 years, and she's one of our dearest friends, I gotta say.
Well, one of the things about being here on Butner Lake, you can hear it's a very windy evening here, is we always want to know what our weather is. And Dave Puck is our meteorologist on the lake, and we have Dave on the telephone. He's over at Culo Jetty Lighthouse. Hey, Dave, how is it going?
So far, so good. This very lovely evening. How are you? How are you, fine people?
Dave, we're doing good. We're experiencing a lot of wind here on the lake. Can you give us some kind of a read on that?
Yeah, we've got winds pretty much have been brisk all day. They're running anywhere from 20 to 30 to sometimes gusting to 40 miles an hour. But I don't believe they're of any consequence other than that I heard you say it blew an umbrella. I can't say blew. I've got to use another word. It knocked over an umbrella?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. We've got a strong blow. It's a strong wind.
You got a hard time saying the word blow?
I can't say that, and I can't say blew. It has to do with a bet that I lost.
Oh, my God.
What kind of bet?
I'm not going to talk about it. But anyway, the wind is blow.
This has to do with a bet you lost.
Yeah, the wind is moving through the air at about 20 to 40 miles an hour. But I think things will clear up, and then it'll probably start blow. It'll probably start moving again about 20 miles an hour in the middle of the night.
So is this unusual for this time of year?
No, we get winds here because, Butner sits at the what's called the crevice and the crack. Those are the two areas. There's also Half Moon Crack, which is north of here, and Full Moon Crack, which is just to the south. So put those all together, and what you got is a very, very powerful blow, a very powerful wind that's that's moving through the area.
This has to do with a bet that you lost.
Excuse me?
You say you can't say the word blow because of a bet you lost.
Yeah, it has to do with a bet that I lost.
Okay, Dave. Thanks. Dave Puck, ladies and gentlemen, our meteorologist.
Yeah, just make sure that people are staying.
I love it, though. You know, Steve?
It is. It's very brisk.
And, Steve, I wonder if you wouldn't mind making a run over to the Goblin and getting Mommy a G&T.
Well, it'd be my pleasure. Be right back, honey.
Yeah, go ahead and get Mommy a G&T. Get whatever you want.
Oh, I need some money.
Hold on, let me get my purse. Steve's going to go over to the Goblin. Goblin Landing is on one side of the lake. It's just a scoot across the straits. You got to go around Kulo Jetty, though.
I know.
I'm just telling everybody. Here's a tip.
Thank you, honey. Okay.
Steve's bounding down to the dock right now. There he goes.
Dee-da-dee-da-dee.
And he's untying the boat, and he'll be going over to the Goblin. Okay, bye, honey.
Bye. Okay. Bye. See everybody. Yeah. Whee!
Be careful, honey. Oh, he can't hear me. So he's across the straits there, getting a G&T for me. And Steve generally drinks a Guinness, even though he don't know what it is. So I think one of the things...
You whore!
Oh, my God.
You see that?
I saw it. I don't believe it.
I'm all right, honey.
Steve?
I'm okay.
Well, what happened, honey?
Tell you when I get there. Christ on a crutch.
Don't swear and use the...
All right.
He's going in the opposite direction.
I think he's going to go still get the drinks.
Oh, he's still going to get the drinks. Did you see that?
It looks almost as if I could say, Miss Dooley.
Sure, Mr. Pepperidge. What do you think happened?
It looks to me like the fireworks that he's been saving up for our end-of-season celebration on Labor Day, which was in the back of the boat.
Oh, my God, they got...
Well, somehow a spark lit up. He might have been trying to light a cigar or something like that.
And it was near the gas.
It was near the gasoline, right. It's amazing that the boat is still floating. I can't... that's the part that's...
Here he comes now.
I'm on my way, yeah. What a bunch of bullshit. God damn.
Well, what happened, Steve?
I don't know, God. It just hurts, that's all. It just hurts.
Come on up here. All right, Steve, what happened?
I know, I got in the boat. I forgot I had the fireworks there.
That's what I was just telling your wife. You know?
Pepperidge, why do you have to butt into everything having to do with my marriage?
I'm not butting into anything. Your wife asked me a question.
Were you hanging around here?
Yes, I was watching the show.
He was watching the show, Steve.
Yeah, I know, but everywhere you go, there's Pepperidge.
Oh, that's not true at all.
Well, I mean, it may be a coincidence or something.
That's not true at all.
Everywhere I go, Pepperidge, there you are with your nose right up my wife's... Anyway, here's your...
Thank you, honey.
And here's my Guinness.
Hey, do you know what that is that you're drinking, by the way?
What?
That drink. Do you know what that is?
It's a Guinness.
Yeah, but what is it?
It's a great drink.
No, what is it? Come on, I want to ask you. I want you to just tell me, what is it?
It's like a martini.
Oh, what an idiot.
A martini. You know something, Dooley, you're the dumbest guy that's ever come up to this lake, and I've seen him come and go for 30 years. It's like a martini. A Guinness stout is like a very rich, thick, nutritious beer is what it is.
Beer? Oh, bull, man. I drink classy stuff.
I'm having a G&T.
Yeah, so I gather.
Yeah, it's just like a G&T.
No, it's not like a G&T. God, are you dumb? You are dumb.
Bobby and Steve Dooley will be right back with more shenanigans.
The really brisk wind has picked up here on the south end of the lake. We're near the dam, and I guess a lot of people ought to know what it is.
Yeah, the dam is the water. They keep the water from it keeps the water from going down into the valley and crushing the houses.
Right. If they didn't have the dam,
yeah, it would go down. It would go down and flood.
That's the word. It would flood. And also, the dam is a wonderful place for water sports. And I'm not talking about what Steve's his eyebrows just arched. You know the kind I'm talking about, Steve.
Yeah, no, swimming and water skiing.
Swimming and water skiing and that kind of thing. And then there's also good fishing. And to that end, I want to bring in Malcolm Bresnell, who's one of the longtime fishermans from Butner Lake. Hi, Malcolm.
Hi.
And what's wrong?
What's wrong?
I was at the dam today, and I was fishing, and I had online, I know I had at least a 5, if not a 10-pound bass. And coming right at me was your two eldest boys, Justin and Seth, and they had the other one hanging off the back end.
Yeah, it's called water skiing.
I know. But they came right toward me, laughed, and then made a turn. And as they made that turn, the wake hit my boat, and I was obviously rocked up and down.
Wait a minute. Are you sure these were my sons?
Is your boat the Cunnilingo?
Yeah?
Yes.
Then yeah, it was your son's, because I saw the name on the back.
And what kind of a name that is for a boat, especially when you've got kids?
It's a town in California.
Never heard of Conalingo, California.
I've heard of Coalinga.
Oh, shit.
Double check the spelling, Steve. So what are you trying to tell me?
I'm not trying to tell you anything. I'm telling you it happened. I saw it as your boys came right at me, and then they spun away at the last moment. And Justin, is that the young one?
Yes.
He drops the pants, as one would expect, because they all do that. I've been coming here. I've been living here for 40 years, and every time I'm at that dam, and every time I've got a 5 to 10 pound bass on, here comes a skier, and as soon as they make that turn, they look back, wink, pull down their bathing suits, and rub the right ass cheek.
I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, get out of here, man, using that language. You go ahead.
You double check the name of your boat.
I want to talk to the boys. Are they at home?
Yeah, they're at home right now. I think they're playing Walking Dead.
They're playing what?
They're playing Walking Dead.
Get them on the horn. I want to...
Yeah. Who is this, Justin? Mom wants... Mommy.
Justin?
Yeah?
Were you skiing today?
Yeah?
Did you go down near the dam?
Yeah?
Did you have... were you the one that was being pulled?
Yeah.
All right, a man here, one of the fishermen here, said that you pulled the pant down.
Everybody does it.
No, they don't. Justin, they do not do that.
Mom, you did it 2 summers ago, remember?
That was different. I'd been drinking the G&T.
Your mother'd been drinking G&Ts, and you know it.
Well, how come that excuses it, just because she's shithoused?
Do you mind watching You're on the air with us right now.
I didn't know. Nobody told me or nothing.
Hey, look, son, you know and I know we love you and you guys are the best. We've defended you time and again when you spray paint swastikas and everything.
Yeah?
So what we want you to do is behave properly and don't drop the pants.
Well, I mean, I saw Mom do it.
I did it because I'd had a G&T.
Well, okay. So you were shithoused.
You know, we're going to talk about this when I get home.
God damn.
What are you guys playing?
We're playing Walking Dead.
Walking Dead?
Yeah.
All right.
Those boys, I got to tell you something, they are a handful. This is Bobby and Steve Dooley here. And we have with us Margaret Gray. Hello, Margaret. Hello, Bobby. Hello, Steve.
Hi.
And you want to sing a song? I've got a perfect song. Thank you for inviting me up here. Phil's going on vacation. I have what I think is the perfect song for this beautiful, beautiful lake, Butner Lake. The perfect song, I think, for the two of you. Why did you belch? I didn't think anyone would hear. He was born in the summer of his 27th year, coming home to a place he'd never been before. He left yesterday behind him. You might say he was born again. Might say he found a key for every door. When he first came to the mountains, his life was far away, living like a slug. What's wrong? I caught something in a zipper. What was that?
There's a raccoon.
Well, it scared the living shit out of me. But the Colorado Rocky Mountain High, living like a bum on the road. That's not the lyric. Excuse me. Living like a bum, going through garbage cans. Rocky Mountain High, Steve.
In Colorado.
No, don't sing this, Steve. Rocky Mountain High,
Colorado.
I think those lyrics are disrespectful. He climbed into a car he saw a young woman sitting in. He was wanted, you guessed it, for serial murder. Thank you. What are you doing?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was Margaret Gray with a great song called... It might as well be called Rot in Hell for all the good you've done us. God almighty.
Things I thought could never happen. Me in a punk band?
What? We Are Lady Parts, a new original comedy streaming only on Peacock.
A confused mix of hash anthems and sour girl power. Syra, vocals. Aisha, drummer. Bisma, bassist. Mumtaz, band manager. And me, Amina, lead guitar.
You were really good until you puked all over the front row. Ew.
We Are Lady Parts, all episodes streaming now, only on Peacock.
This Father's Day, let Dad loose at Lowe's. We have something he'll love down every aisle, but he's likely to head for that beautiful Honda self-propelled mower. Twin blades and a 21-inch deck create clippings for easy mulching or bagging. Variable speeds match Dad's pace for a manicured lawn with minimal effort. All this with a 166cc Honda engine, powerful and reliable. Dad can shop at Lowe's in-store, online, or through our app. Lowe's, the perfect gift for Dad. While supplies last, U.S. only.